All right, guys. Hello. All right. I need to mark my daily range. Mark this up. Whoop. Wrong tool. All right. We're in the gap. We are in the Asia gap. Bias for today. Nothing special. Like on the higher time frame, we still haven't taken this high on Bitcoin. We went really close to it, even on the Binance chart, but we didn't take it. And on Ethereum, this is the supply that created that big down move that took the February lows, and we still haven't really touched it. I thought we would yesterday, in UK and US, end of UK US with the PPI news, but we did not. And model wise, we were testing the 50 here just on the daily. Nothing special on the 12-hour. 4-hour, so we get a rise level 1 big boardroom over a week, maybe the start of a rise level 2. The thing is, I'm more inclined to think that we are gonna take those highs before going lower, but so far we just swept those February lows, and on Ethereum we went way below, retested it, and then we reclaimed it here previous week. Here it is. So still bullish. He had a decent moves yesterday and Tuesday with CPI and PPI. Outside of my trading windows. I almost caught this one on Tuesday. So this is my first day off work, Thursday. So free until next Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was only able to trade UK. It was nothing nice on Monday. Tuesday it came a bit later in the session, but I was really tempted to open. It's not my style to open trades in a boardroom. It might happen sometimes, but it's not my best setups. And this happened in the extension on the news. So unless you're willing to trade the news, you would have not caught that move. Or unless you were in from earlier, which I'll go down to time frame and we'll see. We'll look through it. What was the potential entries? Always look back at price action and see what did I miss. Actually, last night was funny because I was really tempted to. I stopped my trading session at 8:30 p.m. and I was tempted to open there, but I didn't because nothing was clear enough. And right before I went to bed, I saw. I think we're going to break out the exact same way we did yesterday, the day prior on Tuesday, and we exactly did so. But yeah, on the 1 hour, there's clearly a W here. Go call that a rise level 1, small one until the 50 EMA. Rise level 2, rise level 3. The thing is, we might get an extension to tap higher. When everybody is already thinking we need to short this move because it's overextended, you get a final spike at it. Damn. And Bitcoin is retesting the high of previous week as well. Bit less clear levels on Bitcoin here regarding the EMA retest. Let's see what we got so far in the gap. So I guess as long as price stay clear of that week, there's potential for a move higher. Let's see if this 15-minute candle close and creates a morning star, sort of. We'll see it, and similar here in Bitcoin, retested higher previous week. If you were to look on the 5-minute, there's 1, 2, 3 drops, so potential as well for us to go higher. The big move that on the news on PPI last night, we're retesting that demand right now. I mean, we already did. So saying we could go higher from here. It's just delicate to trade an extension. I'm already sometimes not willing to trade a third level, so trading an extension is a little bit, it's pushing the odds, you know. We'll see what Bitcoin does. If we get a clean bounce, retest the EMAs to finally get that liquidity, or if we break below the low of previous week to get a bit of a retrace and recover a bit of that move and that liquidity that's sitting on those news move. What did I say? Oh yeah, last night on the 5-minute, Bitcoin wasn't so clear because it was under the high of previous week, but Ethereum. So when I stopped my session here, 8:30. So at this stage, nothing was clean or amazing, you know. Stepped off the charts, and I looked at my phone somewhere here, and I clearly had this W here retesting the 50 EMA. I was really tempted to open something like this. I don't remember where we were, about 10 p.m. Oh yeah, we already had this week. So somewhere in there when I was ready to go to bed. Targeting the highs of Asia or high of previous day, and then ideally that supply all the way up here. That would have been a big trade, but you know, it's already like 2.4 R here, so could have been more than happy with that. That's a big 10 R trade if you want to, you know, ride it all the way up here and don't take partials on the way. I don't like to take partials. Sometimes if I maybe want to feel better about a trade and feel secure, I might, but it's not in my plan. I like to just close the trade fully. I don't really ride. Let a runner, like some people call it. I mean, if you're in here, probably would have closed that trade. I would have probably closed that trade. I think I would have been out way before anyway. But yeah, that's what I saw. That's what I saw. Yeah. Before going to bed. And the day prior for CPI was the same. Just not willing to open a trade before news. But it's the same scenario where you have this range in Asia and UK is still in that range, and it retested 50% of Asia. And you start, when ETH starts creeping like this along the EMAs, it does it a lot more than Bitcoin. Where were we? Yep. Like Bitcoin was doing the exact same thing here, but it will creep slowly, and then boom, it will just go. Just very risky to trade on news, you know. News is the catalyst as well for a move that might already happen. But if for whatever reason you get a reading that's not what you expect, something, the model might break, you know. It's not a given. But yeah, slow grind building up. I was thinking entering in here because there's a bit of a inverse fair value gap here, and we retested it exactly. Retested 200 EMA on 5 minute. I think there was a tap to the 50 EMA 15 minute, which makes a bit more sense. And then we reclaim 50% of Asia. Nice retest here on this candle, this hammer. And then once you get that inverted hammer, it sort of invalidates the first one. But then once you start creeping and recovering that whole week, you can go long. You can go long. If you have an inverted hammer opposite of the trend, and then that week gets recovered, that's an entry. That's a really good entry. Let me check at 5 minutes. It's a bit messy, but if I was to take a trade, I'd go long. Let's see. Still in the gap. Asia's still not open. So but 3 distinct moves into demand, retesting high of previous week. I reckon a lot of people would have gone short already because it's an extended move and people like to go short. It's not really a double top like it is, but there's a higher one there. Although we come back in that area, have a little bit of a retrace before going higher. I think if we go back down here, I would say there's less of a likelihood that we were gonna go and break high of previous week again. But there's sense, it makes sense to recover a bit of that move. It's just what a lot of people might think. And we might do the exact same thing as early in the week, which is range for almost a day. You know, like here, Asia, UK didn't do anything. Asia and UK didn't do anything after the big move. So we might not do anything all day today. Still no trades for the week. Like when we keep grabbing the liquidity like this, we might fuel a move higher, especially when you have no candle close. Like you have no body below the lows. And you have clear divergence between the two assets. Like if there's any long, putting its stop all the way below this low is the one that makes sense. But yeah, 1.5 all. Doable. From here, be a bit better. 3 all. Potential good trade. We'll see. I'm patient. A bit too patient last week. Didn't take a trade. I was right a lot of the time. I don't know if I was fearful or I just I had another plan in mind about what I wanted price to do. That's what stopped me from taking trades. It's good to see that I was right. The price reading is good. Do I need more confidence, or was I right to just respect my rules and my plan? Was I fearful, or was I just respecting my plan? I'd say there's a little bit of both, but I've got time. I'm on just one trade for July so far, one win, 1.6 R. And my goal for a month is always 5% ideally. So we've got plenty of time. It's only half of the month. I've got 3 winning trades in a row as well, which is good after the months of struggle. And it's part of trading to take losses as well. So sometimes you have to take the shot and not always just like wait for the ideal setup. That's what I like to do. But yeah, sometimes it stops me from good trades. So I'm still learning on this and still trying to progress and see what's best. So far, being patient and only executing on my best setups has paid off lately. So I'm patient. Just put on a bit of a disclaimer, guys, before the next 5-minute candle close. I don't pretend to be a profitable trader. I was slightly profitable last year, but I just went through 7 months of struggle. So do not follow all my trades, but if you're a new beginner and you learn from my thought process and my 3 years of experience day trading, well, you're welcome. Pop a like. Like and subscribe. Third coffee of the day. I like my Asia session so much. It's the, wake up, go to the gym, have breakfast, if it's sunny outside on the deck. Enjoy the start of the day and then come for trading at 9:30, 10 a.m. I think it's ideal schedule. That move down. Be good if we were taking all these lows, somehow retest 15-minute 200, which would be drop 1. and then a retest of a high of previous week from the underside, which would retest this demand, turn it to a breaker. I'll still be cautious that we don't grab liquidity before having that move and grabbing this one, grabbing all these lows to in the end grab those highs as well. We might not grab them, but it's just so tempting. I hate when there's double top like this. Five-minute candle close. Doesn't tell us anything. We'll wait for the open in 10 minutes. 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Levels are quite clean here on Ethereum. 1, 2, 3. It's good. Very bullish. Still holding the 20 EMA on the 1 hour. So far from the 50. This demand here is lining up with the 50 to get a retest here before pushing higher. It will be quite a bit of a retrace, but still possible. I like to go and look at the futures chart. And here on Ethereum, we're into this fair value gap supply. We tap that zone. And on Bitcoin, we actually grab that high on the futures chart. I like when we're on a 4 hour now, the 50 and the 200 lining up. If at some point you get a retest here, you're at least going to get a small bounce. There's probably a small trade to take. It's not like when you got two EMAs together, it's really hard for it to just break through. So might get a bounce, EMAs crossing, and then you get your break. Something like this. It's not very clear now, all my drawings, is it? The setup that would make me go short is when you have the high in US, lower high in the gap, and then an extra lower high in Asia. Good for short. So on both assets is the case right now. And I have another one which looks a little bit like this on Bitcoin. This one is just not ideal, but you have the 50 and the 200 that are trending down. And the 200 is, what did I say? The 50 and the 20 EMA, those trending down. Usually on the 5 minute, can play out on the 15. And you have the 200 holding price up. And it's like price is compressed between and it's compressed down by the 50 and the 20. And at some point, when it breaks the 200 and retest it, that's a good short entry. The thing is that here, for example, on Bitcoin, we just went way below the 200, so it's not an ideal setup, like broke, retested, broke. All these retests probably looked a bit bearish, but not enough in my opinion. So maybe more on Ethereum if something like this happens and at some point we break and there's a decent candle pattern that retests it, potentially a short opportunity. I'm about 2.5% up on my evaluation, and I'm still risking 0.5%. So it's not a big deal if I take a loss, though, as well, as part of the process. About 3 minutes from the open, Bitcoin has broken that zone. I'll leave that on. Take that off. So this is validated. We might get this set up. Let's see. Pretty decent move with strength here, which I do like. See, full-bodied candle displacement. That's turning into a breaker. And there's plenty of zone to retest. Like there's a good part of all this move to recover. Weekly open here. Weekly open here. That white line is my 4-hour 200 EMA strong level. This could be a target. It looks nice. Probably about 50% of that range, a bit less. Yep. So if there's any short setup, that's a good target. This is the last bearish candle before we took all these highs. It's still messy on the 15-minute here. But I'd go as far as, making it that zone if I want to refine anything. Bitcoin is more bearish than Ethereum. Ethereum has been pushing higher and higher, like so strong. There's a ton of liquidity here. All these laws. That's the plan I'd probably like on Ethereum. Even create double bottom, create liquidity, take that liquidity, especially if we recover that wick that I said on the 15-minute. Something I like about the live stream is that I record my thought and then something, so it's a database for me and I can go back and look at everything. I think it's been a lot of progress in my trading to share my journey, to have to show all my trades, full transparency. And it forces me to journal more, review any aspects of my trading. So yeah, it's a really good thing. I love it. And that's why I started it as well, because I knew it was going to make me a better trader. And I think the live stream, I didn't think about it that way, but it is just me recording the sessions, not all of them, but some of them. I can go back and, like, last week on, what day was it? Tuesday or Wednesday, I had two scenarios. I think it was Wednesday. I had two scenarios, a long and a bearish, and I was right on the bearish. And then when it presented, because it sort of presented clearly, I was still stuck in my long for some reason. And I said it didn't make sense to short, but it was exactly one of my short setup. So just with being able to review it on the spot, I thought, oh, I was patient, I saved some money. But really looking at my stream, I realized that, nah, I just didn't execute on my short setup because it clearly presented and I missed that trade. Just got another 5-minute candle close. We're in the session now. What's this drawing? Something like this. Do you guys can't stop touching your mouse as well? It's a bit of a trader's TikTok or tick. I don't know what's the English term for it. You know, OCD. Could retest here of the 50 big bearish engulfing. Was that a setup? Not really. Not really. There's any short taken, that's definitely a target or at least a break-even point. Bitcoin just down. I'd like to see this setup on ETH, would be nice. This one here, when I said clearly down on, that's the only time where I'll be keen to enter a move that's just rounded and down like this. Because usually you don't get crazy entries. But that's the one just compressed under the 50 and the 20 EMA, breaks the 200, retests, good short. The only thing with this trade is it can be quick and you don't have to be greedy with the target. Whatever's there, whatever's there in your way first. See how this zone is good. Like you had a bit of a move, some retrace. Sorry if it's not big enough. Damn. This candle before the clearly up move, that took high of previous day. That's the one. It's probably a first target. Highs of Asia. Retest that high. 2-hour trade. It's, I mean, if this happens somewhere like this, might get something a bit better. Can go quite aggressive with the stop when I get a retest of that 200 EMA. That's not better. Let's see how price develops. Bit too many drawings here, eh? That's a sneaky move. So far. Five-minute candle. And first 15-minute candle of the session as well. The boring life of a trader. It's so long. Usually when it's like this and I'm not streaming, I'll be, do something else. Because like I don't have to be focused right now. I'll put alerts and I'll keep having my alert that rings every 5-minute candle close. Maybe I'll put it to every 15-minute candle close, and I will just check every now and then. So it's a little bit less boring because I'm not glued to the charts. That's why I don't want to stream every session. There was times where I thought price was too average and I was waiting for another level to get hit, and I'll do something else and I'll miss something. It's a bit of the trade-off. Trading's always like this. What do you do? Do you stay glued to the charts so you don't want to miss a setup? Do you put alerts and have a bit of a balance still and be able to go outside and have a coffee or eat something and come back in 15 minutes? Do you only show up when it looks good, even though you might not get an entry, and sometimes it looks crap and you get a good trade on the 5 or 2 minute? What do you do about your trading session rules? For me, it's 3 hours into my session from the start is my cutoff mark. What if you see a trade like I did yesterday before going to bed off my phone? Do I still enter? Do I respect my rules that I'm not taking trades before news? And after that 3-hour mark, you're gonna miss move. I missed that on the spot. I was a little bit spewing in the morning when I saw this move happening, especially that we almost went to that crazy target I had up there. You get mad for a bit of time, for a couple hours. With experience, couple hours. When you start, you might get mad for days, and then you just learn that it's okay. There's gonna be another day and another trade. But yeah, there's so many times where there was great setups happening at the end of the UK session. Do you adapt? Are you smart enough to know when to take that trade or not? Are you very strict and you respect your rules like I did yesterday because you know they're here to protect you? There's always a trade-off. It's really hard to navigate that trade-off. Trading is frustrating, very frustrating. Whatever you do, there's always something that's gonna do things differently or go against you, and it's really demanding. It takes a toll mentally. The only thing that solves it is experience, time in the market. With time, you're gonna detach from it. I saw a YouTube shorts this morning from Trader Main, which I like his mindset, and he's really good at explaining simple setups as well. He trades ICT. It was saying in the early days you're gonna be so willing to learn and you're gonna eat a lot of content and trading strategies and And then so that's the first time, and you might be a bit lucky and realize, oh, this sometimes it's easy. Then you have that period where you think you're spinning your wheels for a while. You know, there's no progress, or you're giving a lot of money back to the market. You wonder what's happening. And then there's that third phase where, which I think I'm getting now, I was getting at the end of last year, but even more now after 3 years, where you know what you're waiting for. You wait for the setups. You're not really refining anymore. Like sometimes, you'd see something like, okay, is that something I can improve on? Can it be a new setup? But mainly you just detach. You come to the market. If it moves crazy like it did yesterday, it will impact you, but not for too long. And you just show up, wait for the setup, and respect your trading window. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it's healthy for you. You can't stare at charts for 4 hours non-stop. It's really demanding. You need breaks. And yeah, so that's I think the final phase, the good phase. I'm not really refining anything on my setup. I've done a lot of work. I've done a lot of backtesting. I know. I've learned the setup. I've developed. It's not that I developed my own, but I trade my own way, different from what I've learned. There's little bits of ideas and concept that I took from different people to make it my own, and that's what you would do as a trader when you develop. You can't trade exactly how someone's doing is trading because we're all different mentally and how we see things. How like I'll recognize patterns or like this move yesterday. Surely it was respecting some of the rules of the model I've learned. But this is just more so, it's not clear massive entry, still in that triangle. Um, Before news, what tells you that we're gonna have this crazy move? It's just that from experience, I know this. We had a little W, a retest, and we keep creeping up slowly. Sometimes you have a big move down that scares people off, and then it instantly gets recovered twice, still holding the 20 and the 50. Can't even sort of explain it. I just knew I'm like, this thing's gonna break out. All right, we're retesting that zone. Let's see what we get. Oop. I need more than just a candle and a retest like this to enter any trade. This would be entering off a limit order, which I never do. I used to do it to try to save on fees because a maker fee is usually way lower than a taker fee. But on breakout, it's the same. So this is good. And then after a while as well, still when I was trading my own money, I realized I can't be chasing all the time at trying to lower my fees. It's part of the game that I'm gonna have to trade. I'm gonna have to pay a lot of fees trading Bitcoin and Ethereum. Sometimes I was putting a limit, I would get a crazy good entry because I would just tap it and reverse. And sometimes I'll miss my limit. And I'm not in that trade, but I could have just, try to save a few dollars of fees doing a limit entry rather than a market, and I'll miss the trade, so I'll miss the bigger money. Still all these lows to take. All this. Man. We respected those trap traders here on Ethereum. Is Bitcoin going to break down because it's more bearish and Ethereum is only going to follow after? Or is this sort of potential entry already on Bitcoin? Bit of a weak, retesting that zone, down candle. I'll potentially put my stop all the way up there. This is the break-even point. Why not? Or I could just close it there, see what reaction we get, re-enter another trade, or just go break even. Especially if we break low of previous day. We might just retest it. If the entry is all the way up here, you might be safe being break even. Good retest of the 50 here on Ethereum. I'll need a bit more than that. And I might miss the trade again like I've done last week and this week. I can't deny that this is nice on Bitcoin. What's the volume like? Tempted. Do I wait for more? So far, we do have this setup of high in US, lower high, lower high. Did retest daily open on Ethereum. Bitcoin broke below that demand breaker, retesting it now. What's my fees on Bitcoin right now? Something like this. $64,825. 0.5. That's my 50 EMA here. Do I get a drawing for this? Nope. Because the EMAs are like 15-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour. The 50 will become you 200, etc. But not from the 5 to the 15. See how this is my 50 EMA on a 15 minute. That's my 200 on a 5. You know, because 15 is it's 3 times 5, not 4. As simple as that. The thing I said is more willing to short Bitcoin than Ethereum. Below higher previous week, Bitcoin is more bearish. We're already below a breaker, whereas ETH is still holding. Just trying to work out on Bitcoin or a stop that would make sense. Like this is still a good trade. 1.5 all. That 50 EMA Monday's high on the 1 hour is risky for a test and a move higher. Maybe that's where once we test that and fail to go higher, maybe a better entry. There's a better target here on Ethereum, sort of, you know. So all this move to recover still. Take this low. One hour trade as well to this level. Let's see. I'd like to see potentially, you know, that this is the first retest when some people would have gone short. So curious to see if there's one of the assets that take that high and then reverse. One of the two be a bit of an extra confirmation. Might be able to enter Bitcoin early. Then once we're in that trade, if it already moves down, have it to break even or in profit. And then we have this setup here on Ethereum. It's the only time where I would enter 2 trades. Because I don't know which one's going to retrace more. ETH moved higher a lot more. So I have more incentives to go down. But it's more bullish as well. Let's see. Oh. Now what I might do tomorrow, it's Friday, so it's not the best day for trading, but I might do 3 sessions and trade US because this is one of the weeks, once every second week, you get consumer sentiment at the start of US session. So in the US session, not end of UK. And for my backtesting, it's been a good day to trade on Fridays. You know, it's not all the time, but if there's a good setup, it might be nice. So I might trade that US session. I'd never trade US, but I'm off. So I might do that US session. Maybe you go crazy and trade Asia, UK, US tomorrow all on live. For Friday, like the day where you should step back from the charts. We'll just see. I'll see how I feel. See how today goes. Could be good. Do an endurance live trading. 3 sessions in a day. Just for fun. Not in that trade still, guys. Just dying, just trying to get some confirmation. This would still be ideal because you have this clean supply here, and it's still within that breakout. So this zone, good zone. Gonna pop on that disclaimer again while I put the heater on. All right. We did get Bitcoin, took the high of that, was it 15-minute candle? What Ethereum didn't. Ethereum is still clearly rejecting that 50 EMA. One minute to that 15-minute candle. I'd like to see what I wanted, but it might be too late. And you remember last week, I had a plan, didn't respect it, missed the trade. So far, we're in the zone on Bitcoin. We're sort of doing everything I said I was hoping we would do. About 45 minutes into the session. You know, I do hate when price just creeps down like this. You don't get a clean entry, and ETH often does it. So, and it's respecting that US to Asia model. What's this giving me on Ethereum? 19 to 3.5. It's a way nicer trade. It's a very aggressive stop loss. So that gives me even 1.8 R to that level. Bitcoin is respecting that breaker. Still creeping lower. So get a decent M formation here. Retesting daily open. What do I get? I need at least to be above those EMAs. What's better? Bitcoin that's respecting the breaker that's below low high previous week, or Ethereum that's still above everything? That 15-minute candle closed. Ah, you dog. Don't do this to me. Now that's a clean break of the 200 I wanted. So let's see if we get that retest following up. Just didn't execute on this. Should have. Just been too long. Too long thinking, not enough confident, too fearful. Fuck. Ah, damn. This was a clean M here. Should have been my entry. There. I hate myself. Reaction of 50% of that 15-minute candle so far. Still below the 50 EMA. Had a good rejection here. We got exactly what I said. Wanted a tap of one of the two assets to grab the high of that sort of inverted hammer. All right, let's see what retest we get here to the 200. On the 5-minute. We are retesting. We broke low of previous day on Bitcoin. We are retesting Monday's high. Finally took all that liquidity. This one as well. This has been taken too. Let's see how we react to that 200 EMA on Ethereum. And the low of previous day on Bitcoin. That was such a good divergence between this and this. This is 2-minute stuff, but we're testing that supply now. It's a big reaction of 50% of that candle, those trap traders. Reaction of Monday's high, low of previous day. Good tap of the 200 EMA on the 15. 4-minute to that 15-minute candle. That could still be a very good trap, you know, like create a candle and then just dump it still. This is still the setup where I could get my stop lower. It's not the retest I wanted from the 200 though, you know, we reclaimed it so hard. I'm sort of happy I'm not in that trade anymore. At all. Yeah. I would have hated that. So far so good, so far so good. Patience is paying. That's the thing, when I hesitate on the setup, even though it's sort of respecting my plan, I just don't feel that comfortable. The good setup is the one I don't really hesitate. I do not hesitate. What are we doing on the futures side? See how Ethereum is already moving down future side. Bitcoin as well. That's a big retrace. Put an alert here, see if we go back below that. That sort of supply. See how it's on the 2 minute, so less reliable than higher time frames. Supply had this drastic move, took the liquidity. This one tested 50% of that candle. Nice retest here with that railroad track into that zone. Good retest. No, pretty crap open so far. Really happy. I was pissed off when we started moving down, but now that we retraced, waiting to draw down, I would hate to be in that trade. It's not. It would have not looked good for me. So yeah, rejection of 50% of the 15-minute candle, rejected 200 EMA, that inverted hammer, all that wicks getting recovered. It doesn't scream long neither, but it's just not good for the shorts. Let's see if we get this on Bitcoin. That's what I wanted. Retest of that zone, which is my 1 hour 50 EMA. Get a bit of a bounce. We might even, go higher. And we might do nothing all day. Might do nothing in Asia. Might do nothing in UK. So this plan is not at play right now. These levels as well, low of previous day, Monday's high, sort of a bit too strong to be shorting into. I'm hungry. That breaker, by the way, is still valid on Bitcoin. So this trade would still be valid, still possible to enter. See how Ethereum closes to that 50. If it does something like here, no, it gets above, but close back below, gets above, close back below. Here would be nice, takes that liquidity, gets above, close back below the daily open. I mean, here on the 4 hour, could we see a recovery of this whole move? That's just an idea for later on. And then retap that zone. Possible, because you know it's still in that upward channel. Tap highs and lows. It's a decent W here if you just look at this on the 4 hour. Sometimes W's, they just retest the middle peak. So that's what we just done now. But there's plenty of times where it'd go to the 50 EMA or even it would go lower right into the bottom of that second leg. It's just a bit of an idea on the higher time frame. Still have those targets, you know, that supply here and that liquidity here on Bitcoin. So it might be what we're doing now. Let's see if Ethereum gonna reclaim that 50 and sort of retest at some point to go higher to that supply. That's the plan. That's the plan. That's the plan. Oh. If we do what I just said on Ethereum, which is get back above the 50 on the 5 minute, break back below, close below the 50, close below daily open, you still have that 15-minute 50 EMA to contend with. That could be the zone to bounce. Yeah, this is crap. This is crap. This is crap. Levels everywhere, drawings everywhere. Rather stay out of this. Just don't like it. ETH coming back in that zone make me a bit bearish. Still have that 200 EMA. Bitcoin did another sweep, still in that breaker. Just tapped that supply now. Just. And the high of previous week. Just, man. Some people will call it typical Asia session, which is not wrong. Asia's job is usually to range. There's a lot of decent moves from and setups from Asia that I like a lot. Ha, so difficult. So difficult. It's really not ideal. Anything would be forcing a trade. It's bad. You know, it is in a way the setup I was waiting for to potentially go long. We created that W on Ethereum. We're respecting 50% of those trap traders. Now we're above the EMA. If we get any reclaim and decent time accumulating above, I'll be willing to go long. This is still a bit like lower highs and low highs, so now we're pushing higher. And Bitcoin did grab all that liquidity, which I was saying at the start of the session that we might grab all the liquidity and still reclaim the high of previous week to go grab that liquidity up there, that higher time frame liquidity. Has breaker retest again on Bitcoin here, looking good. Ethereum on the, I think the one on the 2-minute was quite nice. See, like this one. It's just not my preferred setup. Doesn't look too clean for me. No, like still like sort of average at this stage. I didn't like it. It's not in the right place for me, and it's trading an extension, which trading a level 3 is already risky, so trading an extension is even more risky. This is out of the story. Remove this alert as well. There's a ton of liquidity here. A ton of it. Good bounce, good bounce. Breaker fails, big move above it. Same. The long is here in my opinion. I might cut the stream soon because it's been 2 hours. The long is in this. If we reclaim that zone at some point, expect to move higher. Maybe at that 3-hour mark, which is 1:30 p.m. my time. Especially after this candle, this retrace. And then now we're moving higher so fast. You know, that's where the retest might come. It's a bit of a wide area, but here it is there. Let's see, let's see. Let's see an extra, it's 2 hours in the stream, but let's see an extra half hour, which will take us to like 2 hours into the Asian session. It's a bit more than, yeah, an extra 38 minutes from there. The stream is long, the stream is long. It's okay. I'm still going to be at the charts anyway. I wanted to have a break, but You do need breaks from trading. It's really hard to do live stream. Stay at the chart for that long. Really willing to take a break, but we'll do an extra half hour, like I said. Just not an ideal start of the Asia session. Nothing amazing. Excuse me for all the drawings. I was drawing as I was explaining what I thought, so. This is still potentially valid. You know, from the start of the session. It's just a big retrace now. Deep into that supply. This is my latest view. See if we can get something like this. It might not happen right now, and it might come in at that 3-hour mark, which I won't be streaming anymore. This can go. This can go. It's a bit cleaner. Let's hide this. And hide. Remove this one. That's the other potential idea, but I do really think that we're gonna get that liquidity at some point. Just that double top is too juicy. And finally tap that supply on Ethereum. What's going on here on Ethereum? There's a gap there. It's same here on same here on Bitcoin on that BitGet chart. Usually the best way to trade is through the Binance charts, but I had heaps of drawings on those and started trading on BitGet, and BitGet is the one I think that matches the breakout chart the most. I think they say it's from the OKX exchange chart. So it's pretty similar. It's not like pretty rare you're gonna get stopped out on one and not on the other. And if you don't want to, just instead of putting your stop to the exact highs, put it a little bit higher. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out, you know. It is terrible. See on that Bitcoin trade we had before, would have been safe there, having the stop. That's why it pays to have the stop where it needs to be. So it would have been above all that supply, above those EMAs. Ideally, if you want to be tight, that was the breaker and could have been above the breaker. But you know, you got market structure just there, may as well put it all the way up there. It's gonna be my longest stream, 2 hours and a half. All right. Starting to retest those zones now. Nothing fancy on this Thursday morning. Sunday. What's that? Wednesday? Sunday. Wednesday evening for people in the US. What time is it in the US? 10 p.m. New York. If you trade after work, people from the US, East Coast trading Asia session, we're on the same page, we're on the same time frame. Yep. And I'll be back for the UK session. I'll probably gonna go play golf a bit, practice golf. That's usually what I do. Between my Asia and UK session once a week, twice a week. Enjoy my afternoon. It's from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Get outside and reset the mindset between the two sessions. Being inside on the laptop and trading is very, very demanding. Golf is good for this. You're just out there by yourself or with friends. You just walk, enjoy the peacefulness of the golf course, and yeah, it's really nice. It's a good break. So like I said earlier, trading that extension move is kind of risky. You have rise 1, rise 2, rise 3. Might get an extension, but risky. That rise 3 is already, depending where you are in the model on the higher time frame, can be risky. Sometimes you only get two levels. But this is a straightaway trade as well when you have move up, boardroom, move up, boardroom, move up. And when this resets, it's usually after you 3 levels, you at some point get a retest of the 50, but the 50 is all the way up here. There'll be that 200 EMA here. You range until that the EMAs catch up, or you do come and retest those EMAs, which will be retesting the base of that PPI news. It's difficult on Bitcoin on the 1 hour because we took the high of previous week. We back below, you back in the range, but there is that liquidity resting up there. Those highs, this double top here. We might not take it, but it's very tempting to take it. So we might retrace lower for now because we're in the range. Go back to that zone or go back even to that zone, 50% of the previous week. And induce people to go short. They see this as a higher time frame double top. And then only after we've made that retrace now within the range, we take that liquidity. Bitcoin's bearish. ETH is still bearish, but there's like more bullishness to it. Yeah, that's not looking great. All right, I said an extra. There's only 9 minutes left of what I said I was gonna do, so I'm gonna shut it now. I'll see you this afternoon for the UK session. Cheers, guys. Bye bye.